Hey everybody, I want to go over two more earnings trades. That's going to come on company HIMS and Spotify, or tickers HIMS and SPOT. To start, we're going to do HIMS because I also covered them in a short today. They were rated a 3 out of 10 on the earnings trade with a 49.5 call and a 39.5 put. Now, as I stated in the short, this is not a trade I would personally take because they are only rated a 3 out of 10, so they are not probable to be their expected move. Overall, this is a company that I'm a fan of, although there is a lot of hype around the stock, so that does make me a little skeptical. As I started doing this week, I do want to cover their key levels, jumping to the weekly time frame and then moving down. We're going to knock out, let's call that 58.55 up there. And down here, I want to cover this low, call it 41.30, and I will round these out. There's those two levels. Jumping down to the daily time frame, I want to capture the lows on this range, and I will probably use a zone instead so I can get highs and lows. And we're going to drag that over there to capture this movement as well. Where price is currently stuck at is always going to be untradeable, and I'm just going to zone off that right there. Let's get these colors changed for you guys. I went ahead and changed the colors for you guys to accurately reflect what we're looking at. This is the earnings trade. Let's make this purple. And then this is our untradeable zone right there. For the bullish zone, you guys can start targeting structural highs. You can call this a high or this a high. I would probably be safe if I were entering a trade and just wait for a breakout above this bottom level on this zone. But I do want to line up the untradeable and the bullish together, so I will be starting on top of it right there. I'm going to call this 47.5. And again, this is 58.55. Same thing here, 47.5. And we're going to round that down to 44 flat. That 44 flat is also going to be the start of the bearish zone. And then we have to look for a bearish target in just a second. Now that I have all these colors lined out, let's start looking for a bearish target. Now for the bullish level, I would probably start looking around right here. But I want the size of it to kind of mirror what we're looking at for the bullish target. I might go a little lower. And I kind of like this structure here. It's also the high of this range. So it's the low of this range, the high of this range. We see bearish momentum, bearish momentum. It has this little gap in it. And then we see the start of the most recent rally. So I'm a pretty big fan of this area. And I'd probably just mark it about right there. I'm going to round this to 33.75. We're going to bring this down, 33.75. And there we go. 23% to the upside and 23% to the downside. Quick recap on HIMS. We are looking at a 3 out of 10 on the earnings trade with a 39.5 put and a 49.5 call. I have these key levels and this zone labeled for you guys. When you're starting to look at longs, I would personally be looking at 47.5 as a level to break above with a target of around 58.55. If you guys want to take on shorts, I'd personally be looking at price to break below 44 to start entering, and I'd be targeting around 33.75. Jumping over to ticker SPOT or company Spotify. Big shift in ratings here. We are looking at an 8 out of 10. So typically they do beat their expected move and we do see large moves out of Spotify, although I personally do not trade them for earnings. Today I gave them a 705 call and a 585 put. Let's make this purple. And for the key levels, I do like their structure. This is very clean coming down here. But I want to start on the weekly time frame. We're going to measure out these lows here that were all touched. But with the earnings trade and us expecting a large move, I will actually be targeting farther down about right here. Jumping back to the daily so I can round out these numbers a little bit better. This level matches all the way back to this earnings price. And I will round this, let's call it 583.5. That works with me. This one, I'd probably prefer a zone instead so I can get this area and these ones right here, but I'll just make the price a little bit higher to reflect that. Maybe 630 will work better. There we go. I like 630. And that is going to be for the bearish area. There we go. The bearish zone starts at 630 and targets 583.5. You could probably target even lower than there just because we could see a move as large as that just off earnings alone. Untradable is where price is currently at, and we're going to round out with the top of the bearish level as well. I want to pull this all the way to about right there where we just saw price visit. Remember, this is going to be 630 flat, and we're going to call this 665.50. To the upside, we want to see price break above 655.50. Typically, I want my targets to be about the same size, but I do like these highs a little bit better. If you want to be more conservative, you can kind of measure just about right there. I'd call that, let's just say 720 or 721. Me personally, I'd probably target a little bit higher around right there. Let's call it 734. Quick recap on Spotify. To start looking for longs, I would like to see price break above 665.50, and I would be targeting around 734. But like I said, you could be more conservative, maybe round it down to 720 or even a little bit less. Let's call it 708 to the 710 area. Untradables, where price is currently at, that's going to be 630 to 665.50. If you wanted to go short on Spotify, I would personally be looking for price to break below 630, and we have a smaller price target compared to the bullish zone, only at 583.50. For the earnings trade, they're rated an 8 out of 10, so they are probable to beat their expected move, although I personally do not trade them because this is a very expensive setup. For the call, we have them with a 705, and for the put, we have them with 585. Yesterday, I had uploaded Palantir and Owen Semiconductors. It did get a lot of views, so I was very happy about that. Throughout the rest of the week, I will be trying to cover 2 companies a day in a longer format and 1 company in a short format. So make sure you guys are looking out for those so you guys can keep up with the earnings trades, options trades, and key levels to be looking for on your favorite stocks. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.